Shalom, shalom, shalom. Israel, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah Yahawah being the name of the Most High God, Bahasham in the name, Yahawah, which is who the world so ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right, today we're going to be getting into what it means to actually curse someone, to actually be cursing in the Bible, because it's not saying bad words. Although your words should be salted with speech, your speech should be salted, right? It's not necessarily talking about curse words. That's not bad words. What we call curse words today are not a sin. Curse words in the Bible is actually cursing someone with your speech. You can do this on purpose or by accident, right? But that's what it's talking about. So let's get Proverbs chapter 18, verse 20. All right, we're going to start with that. And it says, a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, right? And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, right? So you're going to eat the fruit thereof, right? So death and life are in the power of the tongue, right? So you can curse people purposefully or unpurposefully with that power in your tongue. We are God's, the Most High. Matter of fact, just in case there's any Christians on here who have never heard of this before, Salaki, who have never heard of that before, that we are God's, I'm going to show you that it's in the Bible, okay? So give me a minute before you click off of here, right? I'm not saying that we are the God, right? The one who made everything, but I'm saying we're God's, and he calls us that, the children of Israel. Not everybody, but the children of Israel. So let me show you something. All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. Right? So that's talking to the so-called, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, right? And Israelites spread abroad. That's who that's talking about, right? So us being gods, us being made of the Most High in his image, right, means that we are godlike, right? Even trapped inside of these vessels, not to our full potential, right? We still have power within us because the power created us, right? Does that make sense? So we have to watch what we say, because depending on your energy, right, depending on the spirit that the Most High has given you, you can harm people physically with your spiritual words, right? Because we are spirits in a Nabala, in a body, right? So let me get this in John 6 and 63. Book of John. John chapter 6, verse 63, right? And it reads, It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. You ever heard the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, right? The spirit within inside of us craves to do what is righteous, right? But the flesh that spirit is trapped inside of craves to do wickedness, right? And it's weak, right? So it says, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So remember, we just read that there is death in the tongue and there is life in the tongue, right? Yahawahs, the prophets, right? They spoke life into the people, right? Through their tongues, through their speech, through their verbiage, right? They also had the power to speak death, right? Yahawahs demonstrated this power. He cursed the fig tree, He told the tree to shrivel up and never bear fruit again. And what did that tree do before everybody's eyes? It shriveled up and didn't bear its fruit, right? So there's power of life and death in the tongue, right? So let's get Proverbs 15:1. Proverbs 15:1. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness, right? So we're going to focus on verse 1, right? So you can literally stir up the emotions and the spirit within somebody with your words. You can cause them to be happy, right? You can cause them to feel joy, to feel a loving sensation and energy, to feel wonderful, right? To feel healed emotionally and physically. You can cause this with your words, or you can cause them to feel like shit. You can cause them to feel horrible. You can cause them to feel hated, unloved, depressed, dead to society. You can physically cause somebody to die with your words, spiritually and physically, right? So that being said, right, that's just an example, right? You ever thought of how just words can stir somebody's spirit up so badly to the point that they want to throw hands with you now, right? This is the power of the tongue, right? Because our words are spirit, whether it be life or death, right? They affect our spirit, our souls, right? So let's get some examples of cursing, right? Let's get Job 3, chapter 1, verse 10. Job chapter 3, Salakia, verse 1 through 10. And it says, after this, so for those of y'all who don't know who Job is or what he's going through, Job is supposed to be this man, right? A son of God, right? Who's gone, the Most High has allowed Satan, right? The adversary, that's what Satan means, Shatan, right? Ha-Shatan, the adversary in Hebrew, right? The Most High, Yahawah, has allowed Ha-Shatan to basically wreak havoc on Job's life, right? Because we're supposed to walk by faith and not by sight. The Most High has allowed Satan to wreak havoc on Job's life to prove how much of a servant Job is to the Most High, right? And a lot of things happened to Job. He lost his kids. He lost his cattle, right? He lost a lot of things, right? He got hit with plagues to his body, right? A lot of different things happened to Job. He was going through it. He lost everything pretty much. He lost everything he had, right? And he got harm done to his body as well. He got struck in with boils all over his body from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet, right? Job was going through it, right? And this is what Job said when he started going through this stuff, right? So it says, after this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day, right? And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived. So Job is literally cursing the day that he was born. He's saying, I wish that I was never born. Curse that day, right? Job isn't cursing bad words, right? Job is saying, curse that day, right? So it says, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for the night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes, right? So it goes on to explain more of his sorrow and how he's feeling in that particular moment, right? But that's an example of cursing something, right? That's an example of what it means to curse in the Bible, right? Let's get another one. 2 Samuel 16, 7 through 13. Right, and it reads, and thus said Shimei when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial, right? So there's a man who was of the house of Saul, right? And Saul persecuted David. Saul eventually ended up dying. If I'm not mistaken, Saul's house was gone, right? And this man was a survivor of Saul's house, right? And this man basically he hated David, right, because of what happened to Saul, right? So he was cursing David when he saw him. David's walking through this city with his, with his clique, you know what I'm saying, with the brothers, and this man sees him and he starts cursing him. And David's already going through a whole bunch of stuff right now, so he's pretty much like, man, let that dude curse, right? Let that man talk his yah, right? I look at what I'm going through right now. What is that man doing to us right now? Right? So it says, then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should the dead, Salakia, my bad, verse 7, and thus said Shimei, when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. The Lord hath returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned, and the Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken to mischief, because thou art a bloody man. Then said Abishai the son of Zeruiah unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord, the king? Let me go over there. Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. Right? So, that's one of the brews. Like, bruh, you hear what he's saying? Let me go over there and handle this dude, right? And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye son of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord hath said unto him, curse David. Who shall then say, wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my son which came forth of my bowels seeketh my life. How much more may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him. It may be that the Lord will look on mine affliction, and that the Lord will requite good for his cursing this day. And David and his men went by the way Shammai went along on the hillside over against him, and cursed as he went, and threw stones at him, and cast dust. So this man is just throwing curses on him, right? This man is saying, look, that's what you get. Basically, I hope more bad stuff happens to you. I hope this happens to you. Look what's happened to you because of what you did, man. Blah, 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 right? He's cursing him. And if you continue to read on David's deathbed, he gives Solomon, his son, a bunch of names of people who gotta go. And this man was among those names because he cursed a prophet of the Lord, right? So, let's get Genesis 31-19, right? Genesis chapter 31. Verse 19, and it reads, and Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. So this is the story of Jacob, right? Going and putting himself into servitude for the wife that he really wanted, right? This wife, her name was Rachel. She had a sister whose name was Leah, right? Rachel and Leah. So he wanted to work for Rachel, but the father, Laban, tricked him into working for Leah. Then he had to work another 7 years for Rachel, and he had to work 6 years for the cattle, right? And he fled after his time was done. Jacob got up out of there. Rachel stole her father's idols, right? And Laban pursued them, right? So I've caught y'all up. Now let's go to 32, right? Verse 32. And it reads, with whosoever thou findest thy God. So Laban then came and he's like, you stole my daughters. You did this. You did that. Yada, yada, yada. You stole my idols. What's going on, man? Blah, blah, blah. And this is what Jacob said, right? With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live, right? So we just read that there's power in the tongue, right? So I'm going to read that again. There's life and there's death in the tongue. So listen to what Jacob said out of his mouth. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live before our brethren. Discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them, right? So Rachel stole these gods or these idols, whatever, right? Because they ain't gods. So now we can skip on to Genesis 35 and 16, right? Because him doing that, she did die. He cursed his favorite wife, the woman that he worked for 14 years for. He cursed her and she died. And he did it by accident. He didn't mean to, but there's power in the tongue. This is what it means to curse, right? This is why you need to watch what you say, right? So Genesis chapter 35. Genesis chapter 35, verse 16. And it reads, and they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath, and Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, fear not, thou shalt have this son also. So this midwife is trying to comfort her, and he's saying, look, you're going to have, she's saying, look, you're going to have this son too. And it says, and it came to pass, and she basically told her that her son was going to survive. And it came to pass, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Benai, but his father called him Benjamin, right? So Benai basically meant like son of my sorrow in Hebrew. And Jacob didn't like that, because when you name your child something in our culture, the Hebrews, right? They live up to that name. That's basically like blessing or cursing your child. The name that you give your child is a blessing or a curse, right? It's basically like you're planning out their life by giving them this name, right? So Jacob was like, you're not naming him son of my sorrow. He ain't gonna be my sorrow. So Jacob changed his name. But nevertheless, he cursed his wife and she died, right? So that is an example of cursing, right? Leviticus 20 and 9, right? It's a commandment not to curse your father or your mother. It's not talking about cursing them out, which you shouldn't do, because that's also a sin, because it's disrespectful, right? Depending on your relationship with your father or your mother, right? Because everybody's relationship is different. What affects and bothers some people might not affect and bother others. But you know what is disrespect towards your parents. And 9 times out of 10, cussing them the hell out is disrespectful and not sin, right? We're supposed to respect those and who have rule over us, right? And your parents have rule over you, right? When you're in their households. So Leviticus 20 and 9, right? So it reads, I'm tripping, that's not Leviticus. All right, Leviticus 20 verse 9, and it reads, for everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He that cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. Right? So look, that's, for those of y'all who get upset and really, really angry, right? Children, when you curse your parents and I hate you, I wish you would die. That's a sin, right? When you wish harm upon your parents or your brethren or your sister, when you speak harm, when you speak these things into existence, that is a sin. That's called cursing, right? In the Bible, not bad words, right? So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashai. I'll say it again. Yahawah being the name of the Most High God, Bahasham in the name, Yahawashai, which is who the world so ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother, Yasharwan from Camp Yasharwan, and that was edification on what it means to curse in the Bible. Shalom.